All Hit Radio.
Welcome to the X Zone, a place where fact is fiction and fiction is reality. Now, here's your host, Rob McConnell.
Welcome to the X Zone, everyone. My name is Rob McConnell, and for the next 4 hours, I'm your host and your guide as together we cross the time-space continuum to this place that I call the X Zone. It's a place where people dare to believe and dare to be heard. It's a place where fact is fiction and fiction is reality. And we come to you around the world, right here on the X Zone Broadcast Network, the DMZ Broadcast Network, Good News Radio Network, the Angel Broadcast Network, and many other terrestrial, satellite, and internet stations. If you'd like to give us a call, 1-800-610-7035 is worldwide toll-free. My email address is xzone@xzoneradiotv.com. On all social media sites, X-Zone Radio TV, and our main website, which will be undergoing a transformation, www.xzoneradiotv.com. My guest this hour, the first hour of tonight's show, is an internationally recognized numerologist from Peterborough, Ontario, by the name of Jeanne L. Thompson. Now, she is a numerologist, intuitive counselor, singer, songwriter, author, and poet. She is passionate about life, creativity, and exploring alternative solutions to understanding and thriving amid the challenges that each and every one of us face these days. Jeanne has been studying, teaching, and practicing the science of numerology and other metaphysical disciplines for 27 years. At the present, she is a motivational speaker, entertainer, and one-on-one counselor. Her private sessions include numerology, intuitive, tarot, and mediumship, covering the full spectrum of information for her clients. Her website, www.thenumbergenie.com. And Jeanne, welcome to the X Zone. Great having you with us.
Oh, thank you for having me, Rob. And actually, it is Jeanne, but I am out of the bottle now, so that's a good thing.
All right, Jeanne. You and I were briefly talking before we went on air about what is going on in the world today, and you brought a very interesting correlation with the time of the fall equinox.
Yes. The fall equinox is, or otherwise known as the vernal equinox, is September 21st, 22nd. So we're just building up to that now, and the energies are building up to that now. And I just to reiterate, I was mentioning that I find it very interesting that all the events around the world, with Scotland, with what's going on with Obama,
right,
and all of these events around the world are, kind of circling the equinox and building.
Certainly interesting times. We not only have what is happening in Scotland, which is going to affect more people in the world than just the Scottish, because number one, if they do secede, which I don't think is going to happen according to the recent numbers that I've been watching on the BBC here in our newsroom, but anything can happen. Anything can still happen. But if they do leave the United Kingdom, what happens to the currency? What happens to the flag? What happens to the great number of farms that are actually split by the Scottish-UK border? What's going to happen to the oil rights? What's going to happen to the military? And there are so many questions that whatever happens is going to happen. We can't control it. It's only our friends in Scotland who can. But I find it admirable. You and I are both Canadians. And I find it admirable that they still want to maintain the Queen as the monarch.
It's really interesting because, what it is, in my opinion anyway, and it's just, of course, my humble opinion, but, it's all this unrest. And, there is an idea that we are all one, and yet there are, people still trying to separate. It's like, okay, I don't want any of that on me,
Right.
so I'm going to separate from you. But you just don't understand how connected everything is, just like a cog in a wheel. There isn't anything that I feel that isn't connected.
I couldn't agree with you more. In fact, do you remember one of the Beatles songs, I am you as you are me, and you are we as we are all together, from I Am the Walrus.
Yeah.
All right, Jeannie, I should say, you and I
Yeah.
have to take our first commercial break. Please stand by. By the way, Exonation, Peterborough, Ontario is the location of the world's largest lift lock.
Yes, it is.
Yes, it is. Proud Canadians we are.
Yes, we are.
I'm in Hamilton. Jeannie is in Peterborough. And we'll be back around the world from our broadcast center here in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada. Jeanne L. Thompson is my special guest this hour, Exonation. Her web address is www.thenumberjeannie.com. And we'll be back talking about numerology, tarot, mediumship, and much more. My name is Rob McConnell. This is The X Zone. We'll be back in 2 minutes. Don't go away. Welcome back, everyone. This is The X Zone. My guest for this hour is Jeanne L. Thompson, and her website is www.thenumberjeannie.com. Now, it's TheNumberGenie.com. www.thenumberjeannie.com. Tell me, Jeannie, how did you get started on your quest into the metaphysical world?
Well, I got started at a very, very early age because I lost my brother. His name was Martin, and he drowned. And so there was 4 children in my family, 3 brothers and myself, and I was the youngest. And he slipped through an inner tube and he drowned, and that was very traumatic for me. And so after that, I'm going to say this, and I gave myself appendicitis. I actually gave myself ruptured appendicitis because, in my opinion, and as I say, it's only my humble opinion, but I've studied it and the correlations between traumatic events and dis-ease, because I really like to hyphenate that word. And so appendix, basically, I've been following Louise Hay for a lot of years, and appendix means, giving up on life. So I just kind of wanted to go with him, and so I had my appendix ruptured. They rushed me to the hospital. The scar I still have looks like they took it out with a machete. Of course, I'm 57, so, that was a while ago.
Oh, you're still a baby.
But anyway, I left my body because what happened was I went into the hospital and they gave me the wrong blood.
Ooh.
And they put me into a coma. And I left my body, and I was raised Roman Catholic.
Yes.
So I remember, being up there, kind of hovering above my body and seeing my parents and the priest who was there giving me last rites. And I saw my body, and I was like 4 years old. It was about a year after he passed. And so I saw him. He came to me. And while I was sort of hovering, and he said, "Are you sure you want to do this? Because they've already lost one of us." And I looked at him, and then I ended up back in my body. And so as a result, I've always been very sensitive, and I always used to freak not my mom out so much, but because she was very sensitive as well. But my dad was more logical, pragmatic type of Taurus guy, right?
Right.
So, I would freak him out all the time by saying, when I was 13, I woke up and I realized I just felt that my grandfather had passed over. And he actually had given me this picture of a little girl, followed by a lamb. And it was on the side of my bed, at the end of the foot of my bed, and it wasn't there. And so I ran out and I said, Daddy, Grandpa's dead. And he said, what are you talking about? And then the phone rang. But the major stuff really, I kind of toned it down a little bit because, as I say, I used to, kind of freak people out about it. So I kind of learned to keep a little bit quiet about it. But then when I was 30, I had a really cataclysmic thing happen for me. And that's one of my other terms. What did that person, place, situation do for you instead of to you? Because then you can remove the victim from it and realize that you're just a player in the game. And you've created whatever experience it is to you in order for you to evolve and grow, which is why we're here, in my opinion. So my first husband took his life.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah. And so he was my love. And so we met, actually, when people say, where did you meet? I've been studying a little bit about you, being in the police force. Well, when I was young and 22 and I needed a little bit more rejection, I applied at an all-male maximum security prison and I got the job as the first female officer in Ontario, in Millbrook.
Wow.
And so he was an officer there. So I met him, fell in love, and he developed MS. And so then Big Pharma was treating him for that.
Oh, my
and
God.
then he ended up taking his life. And it was actually on my birthday, on my 30th birthday. So after that, I thought, okay, this isn't working for me. Okay. And I just wanted to go with him. But that wasn't an option for me because I'm full of life. And so I was searching. And so I basically went into self-destruct for a while. And then that wasn't working either. And so then I was really blessed to meet a lot of teachers when it came to understanding. And I've always had a head for math. So I got into the numbers. And what it's done for me is it's actually helped me to open up as a channel for more information to come through because you're kind of working your right brain with your left brain all the time.
Right.
So, in my opinion, there's a reason for the abacus, because you use more of your brain. So there's different people that use different focal points in order to open up to their third eye, which is their all-knowing. Everybody has it. It's just how much do you use your muscle? How much do you use? How much time do you take to stop, really, to smell the roses?
Right.
Especially in this world. So I just accelerated. My first teacher is an artist. She still is. She lives in Algonquin Park. She was told she could never walk because she was born with club feet. She's this incredible artist. And she was the one that actually introduced me to my first book of numerology. And it's called Numerology and the Divine Triangle. They study the life of Edgar Cayce as well.
Right.
And so then I just went on to connect the numbers to animals, to the symbolism of animals. Numbers are everywhere, right? They're in plants. They're everywhere. They're in us. And so animals, colors, numbers and colors, all sorts of things. And so it grew and it grew and it grew. And as a result, here I am.
Wow. Do you believe that our lives are predestined, that there's a script somewhere in the universe that says, all right, Jeannie, this is going to be your life. Rob, this is going to be your life. And that all our lives, for some specific reason, Jeannie, interweave just like the ripples of a pond?
Yes, you're very poetic, and I appreciate that. But it's exactly that, Rob. I do believe that, and I do believe that we have sacred contracts.
Yes.
And that we spend our entire lives trying to figure out what they are. And So we may take detours because we were born with free will, right?
Yes.
So there's a positive and negative to everything, right?
That's
And
right.
there's a positive and negative to every number, or a flip side.
Sure,
right?
because we live in a binary world.
Yes.
Binary code 0-1. This is
Yeah.
what the basic computer code is made of. And you've got up, down, right, left, good, evil, God, Satan, heaven, hell, and it goes on and on and on. So I know exactly what you're talking about.
And, I also believe that words are symbols for ideas. And I spell ideas. I like to hyphenate words. I-D-AWES. Ideas. Because
Wow.
ideas are thought, and thought turns into form. But we've been taught that we have to look outside of ourselves for the answers. That's why they put Jack in the box in the first place, I figure. And why did they make Jack and Jill go all the way up that hill to get the water? Why couldn't they just go from point A to point B?
Well, because they weren't very good in math.
Yeah, and also because we've been taught we have to struggle for every single thing that we do.
That is so true. That
Yeah.
is so true.
Yeah, and we've been conditioned forever. So with numerology, first of all, people are always trying to change everybody else, but they're afraid of looking at themselves because they don't want to see that darkness or whatever. And it's usually what I say to people is, okay, if you are in relationship with someone, because I do compatibility charts as well, everything that picks you about that person, if it frustrates you or whatever, it's usually your shadow side, waving at you, going, "Oh, hello, do you remember me? I'm your mirror, and, you need to listen up, So one of the things I did for myself was I married somebody with the same birthday, just so I could get to know myself a little bit better. That was
Wow.
quite interesting. And he helped me to find my voice, which was awesome. But so according to the numbers, every single letter in the alphabet vibrates to a specific number. So you, Rob, have a name number, and that means something. So what I do is I take your number from your birth, your full name on your birth certificate.
Okay.
It doesn't matter whether you were adopted or whether you changed your name 2 years after, or 2 days after. It's the birth date that I'm interested in. And the vowels represent what is called your soul number, or the kind, what do you need to be doing to feed your soul? So I can give people that information to empower themselves. Like for me, it's all about writing and singing and, creating and creativity. That's where I go to my happy place, and I don't worry about the details of life because I've got 2 other numbers in my makeup that, really help me do that quite a bit. So I
Right.
have to watch that, So that's what I tell people. It's like, okay, like my soul number is 57. And so that's like in the tarot, all the numbers are represented in the tarot as well. So they correlate. And that correlates to the 3 of swords through the heart. Well, I can tell you, I've had at least 3 swords through my heart. So I could choose to go into victim mode. That is like, the spun side of that 3,
Right.
where I could choose to separate myself from everybody.
Wow.
But I could also choose to take that angst and turn it into something that is inspirational and creative for someone else, or just to bring it through and somebody says, did you write that poem for me?
All right, we've got to take our news break. Please stand by, Jeannie.
Okay.
Jeanne Thompson is our special guest, www.thenumberjeannie.com. We'll be back on the other side of this news break. My name's Rob McConnell. Don't go away. Welcome back, everyone. Our guest this hour is Jeanne L. Thompson. She is an internationally recognized numerologist living in the beautiful city of Peterborough, Ontario. And her website is www.thenumbergenie.com, and I'm going to spell that website for you, www.thenumbergenie.com. All right, Jeanne, I'm going to put you on the spot here. What can you tell me about me? What information do you need? Now, you and I do not know each other.
Right.
So what information do you need?
Okay, I need your full birthday, please.
Okay, I'm going to send that to you right now.
Okay, I'm not my techie whiz here.
Okay.
All I'm seeing is your screen. Okay. Full screen. Oh boy.
All right. Now, all right. It's April 27.
Okay. Oh, isn't that interesting? This is so hilarious, Rob, because you have the same birthday as my father.
Oh my goodness.
Remember I said the stubborn Taurus?
I am a Taurus.
That's hilarious. Okay, April 27th. What year, Rob? Okay, the first thing, can I have permission to work with your guides, please?
Go ahead, dear.
Okay, so you see right through people, Rob. This is an air number, so you live in your head a lot, don't you?
Yes, I do.
Okay, so you think a lot. And, you know, one of the things, you're actually in a very, very perfect position. You have been all your life, really. You know, you need periods of time by yourself because you're very sensitive to energy. Like, you know, you can walk into a room and kind of go, I don't want to be there. So you should probably stay away from, like, really big, like, you know, malls and stuff. Like, if you know what you want, just, you know, you got it on your list, check it twice, in, out, gone.
Yeah.
Okay. You need to set limits and boundaries for people as to what you're going to put up with and what you're not. And you do see right through people. So sometimes people are afraid of that, right? Because they look in your eyes and they can see their light and they don't want to see their light. So they'll go away from you. So you'll end up sniffing your armpits going, you know, is it me? Did I do something? Is that right? Right? It's like, did I do something? No, you didn't do anything. You just shone the light a little bit, maybe too bright for them. And they didn't want the help because, you know, you can offer help, but, you know, there's no more time to push, pull, or drag anybody where they don't want to go.
Right.
And if you add 27 and 4 to the month, for the month of April, you get 31. Okay? 31 is a testing number. So I would say that your life has not been tranquil.
That's true.
Okay? And you've had a lot of tests in your life, and you're an amazing helpmate. You have helped so many people. So you need to stick up your hand a little bit more and ask for help yourself because you're kind of not good at that. Would you say that?
That is very true.
Okay? And don't forget to ask your guides for help as well. Because sometimes, you know, like we were born with free will. And lots of times when people have numbers like yours, it's a loner number in a way. You know, they feel alone. They think they're alone. And you want everything to be perfect. Is that correct?
Very much so.
Okay. So can I tell you everything already is? It's always in divine right timing, whether it feels perfect or not, whether it feels like it's testing or not, it is perfect. If you look back on your life, you'll see that, you know, what did that person, place, thing do for me? Do you like making lists?
All the time.
Okay, lists are really good for you. Really, really good because it helps you to lift and separate.
Yes.
Okay. Now, one of the biggest questions that you need to ask yourself regularly is, am I helping? Am I enabling? Am I helping? Am I enabling? Am I enabling that person to remain the same? Okay.
Yes.
So this vibrates to the number 17. So, Rob, all you've ever wanted in life is peace, right?
Very much so.
Okay. So, but you've attracted in your life nothing but unrest. Like around you. You're having more peaceful moments now.
Yes.
Okay, as you get older. But, you know, that's all you've ever wanted. But 17 is the star in the tarot deck. So you really are connected. You know that there's more to life than eating, sleeping, working, going to the bathroom. And you look under rocks for information. Was that correct?
Very much so.
Okay. And so one of the biggest things for you is not doubting yourself and not doubting what it is that you get. Okay, so 31, 32, 41, 46, 48. You need to be writing. You've got books to go out. Okay. The thing is that sometimes you'll look at your stuff and you'll judge your stuff and you'll say, I don't think I can say that because maybe I might end up in that wing in the hospital where they're waiting for the bus. Right? Okay. Or they're not going to get that, or they're not going to understand that. And one of the things I learned from a really great healer friend of mine is, it's not up to us to judge what comes from spirit. Spirit is spirit. So, they'll tell you when you're done because you just won't get any more words in your head. Like your mind is going 24/7. It's like one of those roadside stands, like with the signs with the words going in and out of your head all the time. Why do you think that's happening? They want you to write it down. You've gathered a lot of information about higher consciousness, and you love gathering the information, and the way you help is you turn people's wicks up, so to speak. You give them the information and then you allow them, you just drop it in their lap and say, what do you think of that?
Exactly.
How do you feel about that?
I let them make up their own minds.
Right. You need the color green around you, the color green.
I love green. In fact, my studio green room is green. I've got a lot of green in my studio.
Awesome. And it actually needs to be like that nice yellow limey green, like that. You need a little bit of limey green in there, lime or yellow green, like the bright green.
Yeah.
The other, you also need not to wear too many dark colors around your face. Okay. Black has all the colors, but because you need more white around you, and even actually almost like a violet purple, like if you were wearing a black suit, I think I used to be a madame in another lifetime, but I'd put you in a like a purple shirt, like a pale purple shirt with a nice tie.
That sounds
and you might
nice.
wear like a charcoal gray instead of a black.
Yeah, that sounds nice.
Okay. So you've been moving. You've always been moving up the mountain towards higher consciousness, and that's what you want to bring to the world. Now, let's see what's happening for you right now. Your personal cycle, and anybody's personal cycle, goes from the birth date to the birth date. It doesn't start in January. It goes from April 27th, 2014 to April 27th, 2015. Okay?
Right.
So the numbers go from 1 to 9, whether we're having day cycle, month cycle, year cycle. And then the world is on its own cycle. So it's like, well, what am I supposed to be doing right now? I'm feeling like a salmon going upstream all the time. Like I need to flow with my cycles, which is one of the things that I found numerology has done for me and has done for my clients, is it helps you to live in the moment, because you could get hit by a bus tomorrow, right? So the moment is really all we have. I really actually call those now-ments. So this year, you're in what we call a master number year. And what that means, Rob, is more is expected of you, okay? As if you didn't already know that. So you are going to be meeting with a lot of people this year. It started last year. You might have started something new in 2013, or creating something or thinking about something new. 2012 wasn't so hot for you. A lot of things and situations going out of your life because you finished in 2012, and you can think about this later, a 9-year cycle. So who was Rob 9 years before 2012, and where did he think he's going, and what did he think he was doing? So now you've come to the point where you're you're making some decisions about things. And so you're making some changes in your relationships, but you're also attracting some, what I would call heavy hitters to you. Okay? And what I mean by heavy hitters is people who have been on the path, their own particular path with their own expertise for a very long time. And they're starting to take their cloaks off, so to speak, and come out of the woodwork, kind of like me, you know, having this interview with you.
Right.
I mean, I have had radio experience before, but not to this extent. So this year it's about staying balanced and keeping balance, because you know you're going to have ups and you're going to have downs. And this month in particular, let's see, 31, 9, May, June, July, August, September, and 5. So 10, 15. Okay, this month for the month of September, you're having a 9 cycle month. So you may not be feeling as sociable as you normally are. You've got a lot of things to complete before the end of the month.
Yes.
Okay. And so you need not start anything new in your 9 cycle, because it's a 9. So you don't want to start in an end cycle, because chances are it's not going to work out. You want to work with your flow. So what you need to work on right now, this month, is just working on finishing up all of the projects that you've got on your plate right now, because you can't take any more on. You're full. Would you agree with that?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So next month is, you can kind of cut yourself a little bit of slack until October. Next month is you're going to be making a lot of really big decisions, and it's going to be a wonderful month for you. It's really all about all the things that you've been dreaming and wishing for, all coming true at once. And lots of abundance around you as well. It's just like when you're doing what you love to do, money is just energy, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
So in a nutshell, that's what I can tell you. And I'm just guided to do just a little bit of off the cuff here.
Sure.
What I can tell you. I'm working with cards now.
So tell me, as a tarot reader, do you play with a full deck?
Yeah, most times, unless one slips under a chair.
Does that happen? I've always wanted to ask a tarot reader if that happens at times, and what happens when that does happen?
Well, when it's noticed, it's really paid attention to. Or let's say you're shuffling the cards, and one jumps out at you. Like one jumps out.
Yeah.
I always take them. I won't let them put them back in the deck.
Because it jumped out for a reason.
Because it just jumps out.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, hello, pick me.
Yeah.
You know, don't fight me. Okay. Right now, the heart of the matter for you is you're going through a huge change. Okay, right now. And you're assimilating and making the final selections as to what you're going to keep and what you're going to let go. Okay? You're going through this transition right now, and it's almost like getting all your ducks in a row and getting organized. There also may be somebody around you that's not all that well. I'm not sure, but it could be one or the other.
Yeah.
It could be you going through a change, or somebody else going through a change or a shift. Okay? The heart of the matter is you need to get in touch with your creativity a bit more. Okay? Keep your imagination under control. Also, you're waiting to verify some things, because you don't have all the information that you need in order to make an informed decision at this time. Okay, so you might be waiting for some more news of something. Okay. The other thing is you're on a bit of a learning curve right now, and that's the end result. You've done a lot of work. But this is the beginning of something. It's almost like you connecting with other people, and it's like this teaching, mentoring thing. You're really getting into a lot of meat and potatoes for people. I have listened to a lot of your podcasts, and I enjoy them very much.
Thank you.
But you really are getting into a lot of meat and potatoes for people who are really on a quest right now, because everything's shifting and people are kind of going, okay, There's no map anymore.
Yeah.
We need a map. We need a plan. We don't know what the plan is. We don't have any coping skills. And then there's those who have more coping skills because they've been there, done that, got the t-shirt, got the stamp on the forehead several times, and they're standing up and saying, okay, I have some information I can give you. And so you are going to be working with those people and spreading it out to other people. This is what I see. This is very karmic for you too, meaning that it's something that when we talked about sacred contracts earlier, this is something that, you signed on to do. I mean, if we knew exactly what we signed on for, we'd probably say, we might have had a little bit too much to drink that night. We didn't really sign off for all this. So they just give it to you in little pieces, because if we took it all, we'd short circuit ourselves. So you also need to spend a little bit more time by yourself this month, and spend time near the water. That's really good to balance you out.
All right. You know what? I love spending time near the water. As a kid, I used to go down to the river in front of our house and spend the vast majority of the day just sitting there near the water. You've been dead on.
Thank you.
Dead on. And we've got to take a commercial break. This is our final break. When we come back, we'll do a wrap-up with our special guest this hour, Jeanne L. Thompson. Her website is www.thenumbergenie.com. That's NTHENUMBERGENI.com. My name's Rob McConnell. This is the X-Zone. And Jeanne and I will be back on the other side of this commercial break as we continue from our broadcast center in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada. Don't go away. Explanation, Jeanne L. Thompson is my special guest this hour. What a lady. Her website is www.thenumbergenie.com, and that's THENUMBERGENIE.com. First of all, Jeanne, I want to thank you so much for taking time out of your day and joining us here on the X-Zone, and for giving me an insight into myself. And like I've said, you were right on.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so grateful to be on the show, Rob, and I really appreciate it a lot.
Well, I can promise you're going to be on again, because I love the vibrations and the positive feeling that I'm getting from you, and this is what this show is about: getting information across to other people and letting them make up their own minds. I know you're a very busy lady. We've got about 3 minutes left. What are you working on now?
Well, one of the biggest pieces I just birthed, I tell people that I just birthed a whale, but it's about Robin Williams. And I have a blog. Well, actually, I have a daily blog on my Facebook page, The Number Jeanne, but it's on my website, and it's on the homepage, and it's called Jeanne's Jewels. And this blog that I've been working on is called Unveiling the Spirit World Through Messages and Symbols from Animals and Numbers. So when Robin crossed over, I was quite upset. And as a result, my coping skills is to do the math.
Right.
And so I did the math, and I did almost a 2,000-word essay on the life and death of Robin Williams in numbers and symbolism. And it is on my website now under Unveiling. If you go to Jeanne's Jewels, there's a drop down that will take that. But there's all my true stories on there. They are true, believe it or not.
What can you tell us about your story about Robin Williams? Because he was my favorite actor and my favorite comedian.
He didn't have to be on this planet. Actually, Mork was a really good character for him. He had several master numbers. And the most interesting thing about this whole thing, he crossed over on the 11th day in the 11th hour, and his personal vibration for that number was 47 over 11. He was having 11 day that day, and his soul contract was 47 over 11.
Wow.
So that's 4 11s. 4 11s is 44, and that was what his life lesson number was. It was like the master number to bring joy to the world. And the personal vibrations come from a subscription program that I have called Life by Number. It's on my site. It's personal to you and your birthday. Nobody's doing it. My partner actually wrote a program when I gave him my formulas.
Wow, that is fantastic. Where do you see numerology in the next couple of years with the implementation of the computers and getting people like you to give engineers and coders the ideas to go forward with?
I just feel that, numbers have always been here. They, they're in the Bible, they're everywhere. And I feel that they're just going to explode because, once you get triggered by something and you start looking at things in different ways, even number sequences like 1111, I mean, we could just talk for hours, Rob,
Sure.
on this whole thing. Even the symbolism of the twin trade towers on the 11th and the twin trade towers, the number 11 is symbolized,
Jeanne, unfortunately, our time is up for tonight. Once again, thanks very much for joining us. We're going to be having you back on in the future. And,
thank you so much.
Keep the great work up. And I look forward to the next time you and I meet here in the X Zone.
You too, and have a stellar night.
I will. Thank you very much, Jeanne. Take care of yourself. Bye-bye, dear.
Bye.
X Zone Nation, what a lady, Jeanne L. Thompson. Her website is www.thenumbergenie.com. That's TheNumberGeni.com. I'll be back on the other side of this commercial break with the news at 6.5 minutes past the top of the hour as the X Zone continues with yours truly, Rob McConnell, from our broadcast center in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada. Don't go away.